Welcome to Home Cooking with Holly. Today we're going to make something a little different than your traditional chicken with gravy. We're going to make chicken with a pan sauce. First thing I need to do is prepare my chicken. It's important to get the moisture off of the chicken so that your seasonings will stick. So I'm just going to pat them dry with some paper towel. Now this recipe, you want to cook the chicken in two parts. So the first part, what we're going to do is put it into the oven. And if any of the chicken has thicker portions on one side, you want to poke them with a knife, and you're going to sprinkle kosher salt all over the chicken breasts. Poking the holes in the chicken will help it to cook more evenly and help the seasoning to penetrate more deeply into the chicken. So I'm going to add the kosher salt just to coat it on both sides. I've preheated my oven to 275 degrees and I've lined a pan with some foil, just makes for easier cleanup. I'm going to place my chicken into the pan and cover it with foil, and then I'm going to let it cook low and slow for about 30 to 40 minutes or until the internal temperature reaches about 145. It won't be fully cooked through, but that's okay. That's what's going to take us to the next step. Now I want to share a special technique with you called velveting. We are going to make a velvety coating for our chicken. It will help it to retain moisture, seal in the delicious flavor, and it just gives it such a delicious texture. In a microwave-safe bowl, I'm going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter, and then I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Now you'll notice there is no salt in this because we've already salted that chicken and you don't want to make it overly salty. And I'm going to brush this mixture onto one side of the chicken after I get it out of the oven. And then I'll place the velveted side down and brown it for just about 3 minutes and brush the second side with the mixture. And then I'll cook it for about another 2 to 3 minutes, just until the internal temperature reaches 165. And now that our chicken is out of the oven, I'm going to pat it dry. And now I'm going to brush it with our velvety coating. To start, I want to warm up some olive oil in a pan over about a medium-high heat, because we want that oil to start shimmering before we add the chicken to it. And remember to always lay the chicken away from you when you're putting it into a pan with hot oil or fat in it, because you don't want that to splash back onto you. Now, an important thing to remember, after you have spread the velvety sauce over the second side, you either want to use it all up or discard it. Don't save it thinking you can add it later, because you've now contaminated it with undercooked chicken. It's not completely raw, but it's still undercooked. So we don't want to add that as a sauce later. We want to keep it in the pan now to continue to cook through. I like to just pour the rest of it on there. It's such a delicious texture and flavor that it gives it. It's worth using every little bit of it. Now we'll flip the chicken over. See, we have some really nice browning on here. And I can use a thermometer just to double check the internal temperature. Next, we want to create our pan sauce, and I'm just going to use enough white wine to almost cover the bottom of that pan so that I can deglaze it. I want to get all those yummy little bits of chicken and the, not quite breading, but the bits that clung to it from the velveting sauce. So I'm just going to whisk that. And then I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of flour and 3 tablespoons of butter so that I can form a nice roux. That will help to thicken up our sauce. Just going to whisk that together. We want to get that flour all incorporated in there so we don't have chunks of bread dough or anything in our sauce. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of chicken broth. And I'm going to let this come up to a boil and then simmer until it thickens. And you can add more salt and pepper here if you give it a little taste and feel that it needs either one. Usually it doesn't, because I'm pretty generous when I add the salt at the beginning, and I did add all that pepper, but you want to make sure you do it to taste. And I want to keep whisking it occasionally. You can see it's starting to thicken up. It just takes a few minutes to come together. And now it's done. You can serve it up, pour some of that delicious pan sauce over it. It definitely has a velvety texture. It's delicious, it's full of flavor. I hope you'll try this recipe. Please let me know in the comments below if you did and what you thought of it. And please like and subscribe to follow me for more recipes and cooking tips.